this is Wendy from Wendy's Parade of Perfume. On my channel, I just talk about what's on my shelf. I talk about the perfumes I'm wearing, and I just talk about what I want to talk about. Just as a heads up, if you've never been here before, I'm unedited, I am unsupported, and I'm pretty DIY. I literally just talk at my phone, so that's what you're going to get. Anyway, I'm going to finally do, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think I've even mentioned it. I'm doing perfumes for a white tennis dress / white party. I didn't really know that that was a thing. I've heard my friend Anne goes to parties, and she went to a party once where you either had to wear a black dress or a white dress. And she was one of the few people that wore a white dress. And I thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of cool to dress up. I don't go to parties like that though, so I don't get invited to white parties. But, you always hear about perfumes being good for a little black dress. But I'm doing perfumes for a white dress, white tennis dress, country club, springtime, light colors, light fabrics, linen, things like that. I have a usual mix of designer, mostly designer, some niche, some that not very much vintage, surprisingly for me, because I'm a vintage lady. And I had this big idea that I have like 2 white dresses in my closet. I was going to wear a white dress, but I'm ready to do this today. I'm wearing an orange dress, oh well, but I did my nails in white, so that's close enough. Okay. The other thing is that as far as a theme, there's obviously white. Now, perfumes don't have colors, but I think there are colors and textures that we associate with certain fragrances. So obviously some of these are going to be white musks. They're going to be a little bit more on the clean side, and there's going to be a lot of white florals. So that's going to be the theme. So if you want to see a little list of white musks and white flowers for a white dress, keep on watching. Let's get the real obvious out of the way. Speaking of white, speaking of musk, this is Narciso Rodriguez Pure Musk for Her Eau de Parfum. Anyone that is ever like, I want some laundry detergent. I want to smell like clean. I want to smell like laundry detergent. This little black and white cube, it literally it smells good. It's very work appropriate. But this fills a hole in my perfume collection as far as smelling like laundry detergent. I think that everyone doesn't need anything, but everybody needs one, right? You just need to smell like laundry. You just need to smell like Febreze or something. And I actually use unscented laundry detergent. So if I ever want to smell clean and refreshing and just like I iron things, I was born in the 70s, so I still grew up with my mom and even me ironing things. Remember that? The starchy spray? Ugh. And the smell and like the way the iron would go on the ironing board. Ugh, nobody does that anymore. I haven't ironed anything in years, but starchy, ironed laundry detergent. Very nice for a white, crisp linen dress. That is Pure Musk from Narciso Rodriguez for Her. I think this is in discounters now. It's not one of the super new ones. On the same line, I don't have a big bottle of this because this is in their Les Exclusifs line, but this is from Guerlain. It is Guerlain Musc Outreblanc. Yes, it's a white musk. Joven makes a white musk for $20. So does Elizabeth Arden. They make like a white tea. This, I think, for a full bottle is like $400. However, as far as like a white musk with rose and iris and ambrette, this is the most beautiful white musk I've ever smelled in my entire life. Lasting power is excellent. It's very, very unisex. It's androgynous. Men or women could wear this. A little goes a long way, so you only need a few sprays and it lasts still a really long time. It will last you for 8 to 10 hours. So whether or not Musc Outreblanc from Guerlain is going to be worth the $400 price tag is going to be on an individual basis, but for what it is, I think it's beautiful. But that being said, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a full bottle. But this is white, this is clean. It's like iris and rose and ambrette are just in these perfect little soap bubbles. I just think of someone that is really rich and has a white porcelain bathroom, and they live on a mountainside, and they can have the windows open and they have flowers in their bathroom. That's rich, right? you have flowers in your bathroom and you have all the products and you have all the things and you are just one of those people and you can put your white dress on after you spray on some of your Musc, your $400 Musc Outreblanc from Guerlain. So switching gears here, this one is a little bit darker and has a little bit more attitude. This is from Hermes. I don't have the box anymore, but this is from Hermes. This is Jour d'Hermes, Absolu. Sorry about that. Jour d'Hermes, Absolu. This is a white floral, but it has a hint of like autumn flowers. It has a hint of crushed leaves in there. So you could be wearing your white floral perfume to your garden party. And maybe it's more closer to fall where the leaves are starting to mulch and it's just a little bit more earthy out. And you have some crushed leaves underfoot while you're wearing your white tennis dress on the way to the courts. But this one's really pretty. This is a little bit more of a fall perfume for me, but this would totally go with the white dress aesthetic. This from Hermes, this is a Jean-Claude Ellena. Anyone that's familiar with his body of work, he's a little bit of a minimalist. So if you have a minimalist white dress, this is while it's interesting and it's pretty, it's a hint dark with all that earthiness. This is a minimalist perfume. Okay, this is a Parfum, so I don't have a full bottle. They also come in an Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette bottle of this, but I have several vials of this. This is from Houbigant, and this is basically their orange blossom perfume, Oranges and Fleurs. This is a huge bouquet of white flowers like orange blossom, neroli, and yang ylang. This is just a huge, dense, serious explosion of white flowers. Although the orange matches my dress, which is kind of cool. Now, orange blossom is kind of a big scent in laundry detergent. So this veers a little bit into the laundry realm, but mostly it's floral. It's a big, saturated, dense white floral. And to me, this smells like rich perfume. You can go to the country club and have your rich perfume. And this is really pretty. I wish I could afford a full bottle of this, but I think that would cost like hundreds of dollars. But I have like 6 of these and they're 2 mils and just 2 little sprays lasts for a long time. So that is Houbigant, Oranges and Fleurs. Parfum. Okay, continuing on, just a little bit of basics. Everybody has heard of YSL Libre. However, this is the Eau de Toilette. And I think the Eau de Toilette is my favorite one. I have the original too, but this is the Eau de Toilette. This is really special because, yes, there's lavender and stuff in it, but this has a big hit of jasmine and jasmine tea, which I really appreciate. And I think tea fragrances are really nice for a white dress motif. That's just me. The lavender in this is toned down just a hair and the jasmine is boosted. That said, this does dry down to that stereotypical designer clean jasmine on vanilla and tonka and white musk. So keeping with the motif, jasmine, white flowers, white musk. It's clean, it's easy. A little bit of kick of jasmine tea though, which is cool, but this really does dry down to a vanilla perfume though. And aside, inflation, I'm not going to talk about this with some of these. I bought this originally off the shelf at Ulta for like $59 for 30 ml, which I thought was reasonable. Now they're like, even for the 30 ml, they're like almost $100. That is a huge amount of money. I only bought this a couple years ago. As seen by the dent, I don't have a huge dent. I have a lot of perfume. My dents aren't very big. I'm sorry. I do use them and I do love them, but I just have so many. But anyway, white floral, jasmine tea, YSL Libre, the Eau de Toilette though. Me being me, I always would have to have, in any list I do, a Prada Infusion L'eau, which is one of my favorite perfumes of all time. But this is a flanker. This is Prada Infusion L'eau Water of Iris. It's not watery. What this is, hence the pink, it's very, very white musky. Now the original, without doing too much of a comparison, it has a lot of incense and it has a lot of like a starchy powder called mastic in it. Whereas this dries down, there is iris. There's also a pink flower called pink oleander, which adds just a pink bouquet. I don't even know if it's a natural extract. It probably isn't. But this is like a pinker white musky version of Infusion L'eau. with also a hint of greenery, because I think there's supposed to be like a rhododendron note in here. Again, fantastical note, but it has like greenery and pink flowers and iris and dries down to a white musk instead of it being like a green galbanum and mastic type of thing. I do apologize. This is long discontinued. I don't use this very much because I can't replace it. I believe this flanker is over 10 years old, but per usual, you can get it on eBay. This is, if you like the original Infusion de Riz, this is a very worthwhile flanker, the Infusion L'eau de Riz. Without it, whatever the French word for pink is, they should have done that. Pink iris. That's what they should have called this. But even the box is pretty. I really like that. I hope you guys, I've mentioned this before, but I just do the box thing. It's easier for me. I also can't have a list apparently without talking about a perfume house that I love called Bottega Veneta. And they're getting out of the perfume game. But let's not shed a tear about that. This is Bottega Veneta Not. This is another orange blossom neroli fragrance. The other thing with this is that it's a little bit herbal because there's some lavender. There's also like a white rose in the heart, but mostly this is like a woody neroli. And I was reading about this because there's no petitgrain note in the note list, but this is very woody on my skin. And I was looking at petitgrain and it's actually extracted from orange rinds, like orange stems or something from the orange tree. So I think that that's just a natural byproduct. It just smells woody. So it's like a woody neroli with a little bit of spicy lavender and a beautiful white rose. And this smells so good. I cannot handle this. I have this backed up because I just love this one. So Bottega Veneta Not, another one that's very androgynous. If you're a man or a woman that likes this sort of thing, it smells clean. It smells happy. It smells carefree. It smells like I don't know why I pictured someone that wearing this more outside. So maybe there's a nice lawn at your country club where you're wearing your white dress, but I think this would go beautifully with the white dress. So that is Bottega Veneta Not. Even lesser known Bottega Veneta fragrance that I also put on here because this is going in a direction. This is Not Florale. Not everyone is going to like this. This is going to be, and I don't like talking about this because, I mean, I'm old now, but I've always liked older style perfumes. Some people are going to find this to be old lady because it's a bit of an aldehydic floral. The top notes are aldehydic. They're soapy. They're starchy. They're not sweet at all. The flowers, it's interesting though, because the flowers, they smell cold and green at the same time. The flower bouquet is mostly roses and peonies and it kind of dries down to a musk. This one is this is a little bit more stern, if you will, and a little bit colder, but I just enjoy the clean, crisp lines that go with it. And I like aldehydic florals. And who says an aldehydic floral? I mean, what's a white dress without an aldehydic floral, right? So this is Bottega Veneta Not Eau Florale. This one is, I just like this brand and this company and this line. This is not groundbreaking. It's a pretty perfume, but I wouldn't say it's worth spending a ton of money on if you can't find it for something reasonable. Oh dear. I have Chanel's and I have niche and I have vintage left because of course I have Chanel on this list. Okay. One vintage, 1940s Nina Ricci, L'air du Temps, another floral. I wouldn't even say this is a white floral. The primary floral in L'air du Temps is carnation, which tends to be a little bit darker and a little bit spicy, but there are so many flowers in this perfume. It smells like carnation, it smells like iris, it smells like violets, it smells like roses. Even in the modern incarnation, this is a modern bottle, and I have an eau de parfum. It probably doesn't dry down the way it used to, because this perfume is 75 years old. But I think that this is absolutely lovely. I think this is it's girlish. It has it's funny because this perfume is old. People are going to think it smells like an old lady, but to me, the heart of this perfume is actually that of someone that's really young. Younger than I ever was inside. But I think this would be a lovely white dress scent. It's just so pretty. I love L'air du Temps from Nina Ricci. And I have a full review on this one. This is good old, another Hermes actually. This is the original Kalash from 1961. This is a very woody iris, androgynous for today's standards. This is actually a vintage bottle that I have. It's a Parfum de Toilette. I think that this is like so sophisticated. Like if you had 2 sprays of this, you just belong wherever you are. Wherever you are, there you're at, whatever it is. I'm at where I'm at and I be where I be. I did not make that up. That's from a movie. But anyway, this is another vintage, and while this is androgynous, I really, really, really think this would go, 2 sprays of this would go lovely with like a beautiful red dress. I should do a red dress list too, a beautiful white dress. I'm going to end on Chanel. I have 3 vintage on this list. One is from Eldo, Etat Libre d'Orange. I just called them Eldo, I'm sorry. This is You or Someone Like You. This, it's funny, Fragrantica just has an article about this that popped up, even though this perfume is a few years old. I like to travel with this perfume, and I have worn this when I've been like traveling by airplane so often that that's what I think of. Like I think of airplanes when I smell this, and not in an unpleasant way. It's a good travel companion, but this is very bright. This is blindingly white. It has mint and like leaf stems, but it's very minty and kind of fresh. And it's also a white floral, but it is loaded with hedione, which tends to, at least from my olfactory sense, it tends to kind of overbear on everything. This is the only hedione perfume that I need, but the smell of hedione is just white. Now, mint is a green herb, but it still has that like minty, white, green, herbal, and it radiates. It's not strong, but the personality just, you can just see like the zings of white coming out. So white floral, white hedione, and green herbal minty, You or Someone Like You. Excellent travel perfume. I love this perfume for going places. This is one from a house that I think is criminally underrated, which is from Parfums de Nicolai. This is L'eau Chic. Now, L'eau Chic is, I think this is an eau fraiche. I don't think this is not very strong, but this is another one that is kind of minty herbal. It has a little bit of mint and basil and like greenery on top, while having rose and jasmine in the heart and a nice sandalwood base. This leans a little bit, because it's so woody, it leans a little bit unisex, but I think this would be stunning to complement a simple white dress. And that's really all I have to say about it. This is a simple perfume, but it's really well executed and really well done, as most perfumes from Parfums de Nicolai are. And that is L'eau Chic. Plus the sandalwood base is incredible. I love the sandalwood in here. It's really good. And who doesn't like a nice rose and jasmine heart, you know? Let's just go back to the classics. It's like Chanel No. 5. So as far as a billowing white floral, I have an Amouage. I don't know why I'm whispering. I have an Amouage. I have Honor. I have Amouage Honor. Possibly, I know that back in the 80s there was Dior Poison, which is no longer with us. Poison, Hypnotic Poison, those are all white florals, right? I missed that boat. But this has an amalgam of, not an amalgam, a tincture of every white floral you could possibly imagine. There's tuberose, there's jasmine, there's gardenia. There's so much. And it has a little bit of a darker resinous incensey bottom to it. It's Amouage, so there's a slow progression. It's Amouage, so you only need 2 or 3 sprays and you will be enveloping. It'll envelop you and possibly envelop your people around you. So don't wear too much. But I mean, it's white. Come on, it's Honor. I think some people say that this is like a bridal perfume, but definitely would go with the white dress motif. So that is Amouage Honor. I'm ending on Chanel. I like Chanel. And I don't care. I don't care what people say. I don't care what people say. Oh, wait, I can't end on Chanel. I have to do one more. This is in between niche. I mean, is this niche or is this designer? I don't know. This is from Aerin, that Estee Lauder brand. I guess her granddaughter runs the company now. So Cedar Violet, pretty straightforward, right? It's cedar and it's violet. But what this also is a white sandalwood fragrance. So there's cedarwood, there's violet, there's a little bit of rose, but mostly this is a powdery sandalwood. It's and it's more of like the white sandalwood motif. It's a little bit light, it's a little bit sanded. But as far as sandalwoods go, especially modern sandalwoods where we do not have access to Mysore anymore, this is an absolutely lovely sandalwood fragrance. I just needed to step away from, you know, the florals are great and the musks are great, but I actually needed a true woody fragrance. Kalash is a little bit like that in that viewpoint, and so is Aerin, Cedarwood Violet. I think that this would be really, really, really pretty, especially outside if you were wearing a white dress. Okay, now we can get to Chanel. This is Belle Respiro. This is a beautiful green fragrance with just a drop of leather. This is like manicured lawns. So this is less about the white dress than manicured lawns and maybe like a wood hedge near you, wherever you're at your garden party and your dress. These people that just wear dresses and go to parties, man. I wish I had that life instead of like wearing my scrubs and going to work and staying there for 13 hours a pop. Anyway, I really like Chanel Belle Respiro. This is another one, kind of like Parfums de Nicolai, where it's a little bit more woody on the bottom. This has a hint of leather and woods on the bottom, but this is mostly an old school green perfume. Not as strong as, say, like Estee Lauder Private Collection. Everyone remember that. I used to have that. Oh, I love that perfume, but it's just not what it used to be, so I don't have it anymore. But Belle Respiro, and man, this is an exclusive Chanel. You know, you can wear it with your white dress and just put the cherry on top. On their plebe line, the Gabrielle Chanel Essence. This is Essence, and the reason is, oddly enough, this is another white floral all the time, but this has a little bit of coconut in it, and it's a little bit stronger than the original. The original one I felt like was almost for Chanel. Now, I use the word fruity floral as very loosely because the first one had like blackcurrant and things like that. I just don't detect a lot of fruits in here, except, you know, in the top notes. But this dries down to a saturated white floral with a little tiny hint of coconut and a little bit of sandalwood. And this is a really nice perfume. It's very pretty. It's a little bit matronly for some people. This isn't going to be something like someone that wants to smell young or smell like a teenager is going to want. But Gabrielle Essence. Now, last one. We made it. 22 minutes in. This is from their Les Eaux collection. Chanel Paris Deauville. Oh man, I really like this one. Obviously, it's on my list. I'm going to stop saying that. Oh, I like this. Well, no shit, I like it. I'm talking about it. Anyway, Paris Deauville. This is an herbal floral on top of patchouli. So this is a little bit different than what you would think. I don't think of patchouli when I think of Chanel, but this is there's a lot of basil. It almost sounds like I'm describing aromatic elixir. Oh, it's herbal. There's basil. There's patchouli, but it's not like an aromatic elixir. Don't worry. This is very herbal on top of roses and jasmine, and the base is in patchouli. The other thing too is that there's a lot of citruses on top. There's a lot of neroli and a lot of orange, and it's very, very bright. It's a bright herbal citrus, and I like that it starts there with that brightness and those herbs. And then it becomes a little bit floral, and then it darkens a little bit on the bottom, and it has a nice patchouli base. And this is a cop-out, but this, to me, this still smells very elegant, and it just has that Chanel DNA. If you smell the handful of Chanels, you know what I'm talking about. It's very pretty. It's very elegant. It's a little bit older in personality, and I like Chanel. What can I say? Chanel Deauville from their Les Eaux. Oh, the other thing is, I originally bought this at the duty free at the Detroit airport, right? This is the 50 ml bottle for $75, maybe 2 years ago. These are $98 now. That's like a quarter percent, 25% price hike in like two-ish years. I really want to get Riviera though. Has anybody ever tried that one? Meanwhile, I'm like, I'll pay it anyway because I'm addicted. Just give me my hit. Anyway, if I ever get invited to a white party, or if I get to go to a country club and I get to put on a tennis dress, I will have plenty to pick from because I have literally been thinking about this list for months. This is what I think about. I could be thinking about a lot of things that would better serve me, but this is what the thoughts that go through my head. So anyway, What are your white dress perfumes? Everybody has a little black dress perfume. What's your little white dress perfume? What's your tennis dress perfume? What's your country club perfume? Okay? If you've stuck with me for this long, I really appreciate it. I love chit-chatting with you guys. And I will see you next time on Wendy's Parade.